Well, I tell you what, this ought to stir up some conversation, guys. Welcome to the Independent Investor Channel. My name is Ryan, coming to you from the Big Apple, New York City, New York. This is my top 5 stock picks of all time, all right, guys? Now, in my humble opinion, I've been doing investing since I was about 14 or 15 years old. All right, and I've learned a lot in evolving through being an investor, investing in certain stocks, putting long and short positions on certain stocks. And it's made me take a step back and try to imagine that I'm a new investor and I'm looking at approaching the market and I knew nothing about the market, all right? And a lot of the responses that I get from a lot of people is, I don't know anything, and they use that as an excuse not to invest. Not good enough, all right? In this 5-minute video, guys, I am going to give you the absolute core of investing. The absolute core, all right? We are talking about almost $1 trillion, okay? We are talking about actually over $1 trillion of market cap between these companies, all right? Now, on the Independent Investor Channel, I'm giving out the best kept secret in the financial industry. The best kept secret. I'm blowing it out. It's something that I've done, and I'm basically making myself wealthy by utilizing this strategy with regard to putting my money into the self-managed account that I advocate for all the time. And I've got a lot of people out there that are taking my advice and they're starting and funding those accounts. If you're listening or you're just now tuning into the channel for the first time, you really need to pay attention and listen up, because this could be life-changing for you, as it was life-changing for me when I was referred to the self-managed investing program, okay? This is not something that the banks are going to talk about. It's not something that the financial planners are going to provide to you as an option, okay? Because you're going to walk out the door and they'll never see you again, okay? Because you're going to be busy making money. Okay, busy making money. This video is aimed to help all those people that are out there asking me one question: what do I fund my account with? What assets do I buy within my account? All right, so we are assuming that you started your self-managed Roth IRA account and that you funded that account with some money. All right, so that money is in a money market account and it's ready to be deployed. All right. These are my top 5 picks of all time, okay? Of all time. I track around 250 stocks, okay? I cover the S&P 500 the very best I can, but there's certain stocks within there that I really don't pay much attention to. I should. I own S&P index funds, so I am exposed to those companies, and when they outperform, I win, right? But these are the top 5, okay? But you can kind of see how I have this broken down. Whenever I'm talking to a new investor who tells me I want something that I can put my money in, that I never have to worry about, that's going to grow over time, and it's going to diversify me right away. That's a lot of lofty goals, guys, all right? So this core right here should be the answer to your question. You should be looking no further than an ETF, okay, an exchange-traded fund, which I recommend one ETF on this program, which is the very best ETF that I know of, and that is the VOO, the Vanguard's S&P 500 Index, okay? Extremely low fees. It will pay you almost a 2% cash dividend within the self-managed account, all right? And it's going to give you broad-based diversification within your self-managed account. That's the very first asset you should buy. If you have $1,000, buy 4 shares of VOO and let it ride for a couple years, okay? Just let it ride. All right, so this core is either an ETF or an index fund, all right? An index fund is going to actually pay you a dividend that you can actually reinvest into the stock, all right? But a lot of index funds actually have a minimum balance to play, okay? And the index funds that I recommend all the time are also through Vanguard, and they have a $2,500 minimum, okay? But this should really be your core, all right? Now, what do we do after that? What do we do when we get our core set up? What if you say, okay, Ryan, that's great. I'm putting this in autopilot, but I want to have a little bit more exposure to single stock allocation. The worst thing that I see people doing is buying stock at the expense of these 5 stocks, okay? I own 4 out of these 5. okay? And I am shortly trying to justify getting a pullback in JP Morgan. Today's Fed chairman meeting didn't help me at all. Interest rates going up in the financial sector again took off. So it's really, really hard to get an entry point on the financial sector right now, all right? But JP Morgan does it for me. It's the biggest bank in the world. It matches your financial sector allocation. You could buy this one stock and you could hold it forever, rake in the dividend, set it up for dividend reinvestment, and it can be an excellent extension to this ETF and index fund that I talk about as the core, okay? Now this whole thing is part of your core portfolio in your self-managed Roth IRA account, but JP Morgan and the financials will do it, all right? Now keep in mind, I've split this up strategically to give you one-fifth exposure to each of the major sectors that I recommend, okay? Now there are other sectors that are not represented here, all right? And I'm sure that's going to provoke some discussion in the comments section. And I want you guys to leave those comments. If you don't like one of these stock picks, I want you to offer up some constructive dialogue in the comments section and offer your stock picks, guys. Because as I say all the time, okay, I could have just put this structure on the board and left the stock picks blank. Because you could take this template and you could drop it into a self-managed Roth IRA account and plug 5 other beautiful stocks in here and they could win just as easily, okay? No 2 portfolios need to be the same, all right? But each of my viewers need to have a portfolio that's contained within the self-managed Roth IRA account, all right? Apple goes without saying, should be your #1 go-to in the technology sector, all right? There is no better stock. It's approaching $1 trillion of market cap. $1 trillion, okay? It's not a stock that you need to be justifying going out and buying other names at the expense of this name, all right? Disney has an extremely huge moat. They own content that nobody else owns. Everybody wants to go to their parks. They are expanding their parks. They have expanded their entertainment business, all right? Everybody is wanting to beat this stock up over ESPN, all right? And even though some of that cord cutting is justified, it's not justified enough to not pick up, probably out of these 5, the most intriguing buy point, and that's Disney, all right? Procter & Gamble is one of those stocks. It was one of my very first stocks that I ever bought in my self-managed Roth IRA account, and I've held it ever since, all right? I've watched Procter & Gamble go from the 90s all the way down into $65. I didn't bat an eye. I bought more of it. I bought more of it. I bought more of it. Now we're talking about it up at the upper edge into the 90s, and it will be approaching $100 here pretty quick. Procter & Gamble, one of the cornerstones within any good diversified portfolio. And the last pick here, Johnson & Johnson, which gave you a brief buying opportunity today if you pay attention to the market. With any one of these stocks, I could care less if we're in a recession. I could care less if the market is at an all-time high. As the Independent Investor channel says all the time, I do not push out content that I am fearful that you're going to take the advice and act on it tomorrow. You can act on this advice, guys. You have the green light to go and purchase these assets. You actually got a pullback today on Apple, and you got a pullback today on J&J. Whenever these companies go down, you buy more, okay? These are assets that you can hold forever, and you can allow them to pay you back as these accounts mature over time. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my top 5 stock picks of all time, all right? If you're new to the channel and you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. You'll be notified of any future uploads that I put on YouTube. Leave your commentary at the bottom. The biggest payment that I can receive, guys, is that you share the link with anybody out there that you know that's looking for further stock market information. Maybe they're looking to get started in the stock market and they don't know how. Have them tune into my channel and I'll show you how, all right? Thank you so much for tuning in to my top 5 stock picks of all time. Good luck in your investment future.